With a slap powerful enough to crush even large monsters, he has an undefeated record of 700 matches. In terms of combat ability, we have determined that he surpasses even S-class heroes. If you've been following One Punch Man in recent times, you'd know that there's some new heroes on the block, Neo heroes to be precise, and while some of them carry both intrigue and excitement about them, a certain sumo happened to leave a bigger impression than most. Today we're gonna look at Raiden, a hero who might just be among one of the strongest we've ever seen if the perceptions are to be believed. Is a new fan favorite powerhouse on the horizon? Let's get into it. Before we get underway, I just want to mention that while some of you may have read the webcomic, it's become clear that the manga and webcomic are no longer one-to-one reflections of each other, with many things altering either partially or greatly in Murata's finalized manga version. Due to that, we can't say for certain what manga canon will actually become, so whatever happened in the webcomic is not a given or expectation. Our initial introduction to Raiden begins with a member of the Hero Association approaching him at his dojo with the intention of recruiting him to their ranks, and we learn from Raiden that it hasn't been the first time he's been approached by them regarding a hero career either. Being described as someone who has strength which defies human understanding, Raiden instead had decided to spend his time up until now focusing on super sumo tournaments and his own training, although he had noticed in recent times that monster attacks and the deterrents against them are in a more fragile state than ever before. Perhaps due to this, he finally decided to shiko his way into the hero world, however, not with the Hero Association, but with mysterious new upstarts instead, the Neo heroes. For whatever reason, he seemed very against joining the Hero Association, having declined them numerous times, but Neo heroes, well, he's all for that apparently, so perhaps we'll find out more regarding his preference later down the line. A neat little aspect at the start of this scene is how one of the rooms in his dojo is called the Lightning Room, which is a nod to his name referencing the god of thunder in Japanese mythology, Raiden. I do think it's somewhat curious that a sumo has a name and brand relating to a deity associated with thunder and lightning. However, I'm going to assume it's supposed to reflect how the strength of his strikes resemble the resounding thunderclaps which bellow from the skies, as opposed to him, you know, being able to infuse some kind of literal lightning within his attacks. But hey, it's One Punch Man, so who knows. The next time we see Raiden, it's at the Neo leaders meeting, appearing out of nowhere like Michael Myers, except he's 9 feet tall and wider than a merry-go-round. That is one intimidating shot of him too. Look at those cat-like eyes weighing up a former S-class hero as if he were prey. From his words, we can tell that he has some interest in Darkshine as a rival and is disappointed to hear that the hero had recently retired after the events of the Monster Association arc, going so far as to question it himself to see if it was really true. It's here we learn a little more about the fierce titan of a man. Not only is he a sumo, but a super sumo, meaning that only men over 3 meters tall and 400 kilograms are allowed to compete. It puts into perspective that all of his sumo accolades are not just achievements against ordinary sumo, but sumo of the most monstrous genetics to be found within the land. Sumo so big, you'd think they transformed by biting their hand like Eren Yeager before entering the ring. Damn, now I'm thinking about how we never got a sumo titan in Attack on Titan, but hey, the AOT world had enough to deal with, so those guys didn't need any more problems. According to McCoy, Raiden surpasses even S-class heroes in combat. But before we move on, let's analyze that a little. For me, this statement could suggest one of 3 things. The first being that Raiden's abilities are so high that he transcends the power of the current S-class as we know it, heavyweights like Tatsumaki and Flashy Flash included. The second is that Raiden is so strong that he's stronger than some of the current S-class, but not all of them, and McCoy is simply trying to let it be known that this is a man who is capable of besting S-class power generally, but not absolutely. And the third is that McCoy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about and is just chatting out of his empty eye socket. McCoy's a crafty cat, so I think it's best to not take him fully at his word, but he does have a grip on what he's talking about, which means you can never really count out his words completely. I'm leaning more to believe that Raiden has the potential to be a high-tier S-class hero, since I don't see how he'd manage to use sumo to compare against Tatsumaki or Atomic Samurai. However, I can see a future where he's comfortably above the likes of Prisoner, Tank Top Master, and Pig God. Raiden then goes on to give Darkshine his props, showing that his interest in Darkshine's strength is genuine, which gives his proposal of a test of strength some legitimacy to it, as opposed to a strong ego sumo trying to score some points in a room full of big, swinging, heroic capes. And with that, before Darkshine can really steady himself on the idea, we're greeted to a panel which truly shows us the outrageous genetics of the world's best super sumo. Darkshine is not a small man, and actually, he's been shown in this series to make big men appear small next to him instead. So for another human to do that to Darkshine is an instant indicator of power. Look at him, making our boy Darkshine resemble a freaking Fall Guys jelly bean when put in front of Raiden, the god of sumos and Penta XL clothing. As they interlock fingers, it becomes obvious very quickly that Darkshine is not prepared for this, and Raiden seems to have the edge, at least mentally, before he decides that it's not even worth the time. From that test of strength, Raiden noted that he didn't intend to scare Darkshine, sensing fear from him as they engaged, and choosing to withdraw from the contest since he suspected the former S-Class hero wasn't in a good state, or perhaps was outright past his prime entirely. While the strength test was somewhat inconclusive due to Darkshine's vulnerable mental state, there were some clear takeaways when it came to the power of Raiden. For one thing, he's as strong as they say. To be able to impose himself upon Darkshine, lock fingers, and instill fear upon one of the strongest S-Class heroes is not something anyone beneath that level could do, especially in the hero's area of comfort like strength would be Darkshine. Furthermore, there must be good reason for the Hero Association to have tried scouting him numerous times. They're a group who typically do their research when trying to land those with big potential, so their reports must have generated sufficient results for them to want him so badly. Additionally, we already know that this is a man who can fight monsters, having been confirmed as someone that defeated large monsters easily. In fact, already gives him legitimacy as someone who probably walks the walk when it comes to S-Class level matters, since generally in the One Punch Man world, big monsters usually equal big problems. How much of what McCoy says is true, we have yet to see, and how close a contest between Raiden and a confident Darkshine would be, we have yet to find out. But for now, it's clear that Raiden is no ordinary hero hopeful stepping into a world he's not prepared for, and if he's what his supporters are saying he is, then we could be witnessing the career beginnings of a hero among the strongest we've ever seen. I mean, just look at this guy. Those eyes and that physique are a combination which equals sumo techniques being the last thing you ever see. Let me know in the comments what you think of Raiden and how you think he's going to fare in the future of the One Punch Man manga. And if you want to see a video where we go over the Neo heroes in more detail, be sure to pipe up about it in the comments too, so I know. This is Saitama World, channel focusing on One Punch Man, anime and manga, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned so you never miss out on the fun. See you next time.